Online students, I am audible. Okay. How many of you are aware about the syllabus of PSIR? Most of you, I hope you have seen the syllabus and you have decided after taking all the considerations that you are comfortable with this particular syllabus. Okay. Switch off the fan if it is fine. So all of you have seen the orientation classes also, which I took. So what is the most fundamental thing in this subject? This subject of political science is about what? What is the most fundamental thing in this subject? What is the central concept of this subject? This subject revolves around which two main concepts? Bolo? Okay, state is one, and second? People. Relations. Nahin. The two main concepts of your subject are, one is state and second is power. These are the two central concepts of this subject. Political science revolves around, political science begins from the state. Okay. So political science begins and ends from the state. Who has given this statement? If any one of you having the idea who has done PSIR during your graduation, political science begins and ends with state. Who has said this? Aristotle. No. This was said by Garner. Okay. So political science begins and ends with state. All of you are aware of the concept of state. Do you understand the concept of state? I'm sure many of you, those who have attended the GS classes of mine, they understand it very well. The difference, because when you started, I'm sure you were not aware about the concept of state. State is something else, and there's a difference between the concept of nation and state. So we'll start our lectures to first understand the difference between nation and state. Once you will understand state, further things you will able to understand it easily, that how the concept of state has evolved. From where the concept of state has evolved, any one of you can tell me this? You know what the state is, but any one of you can tell me from where the concept of state has evolved? Very good. The concept evolved in ancient Greece. And in ancient Greece, what used to exist was city-state. फिर कैसे state evolve हुआ? So we have to discuss how state has evolved, from where the concept of nation evolved, and where lies the difference between these two words, nation and state. Can any one of you tell me from where the concept of nation has evolved? French Revolution. Okay, so French Revolution led to the emergence of the concept of nation. So the political science revolves around these two main concepts, that is state and power, right? So I always use this word with my GS students, that all of you are aspiring for UPSC to acquire power. All of you are here to study the subject of political science. All of you are here to study the subject of political science, to learn political science, or to learn political science so that you should end up acquiring what? Power. Are you interested to study political science? Nahin. और ये करना भी नहीं है. One of the common mistake being done by the aspirant, done by me when I started, that I thought I have to become what? Subject expert. You are not here to become what? Subject expert. So those who have done your PSR during your graduation, and even let's say post-graduation in that, if you further continue your studies within the subject, you will aspire for what? Subject expert, expertise in that particular subject. But in UPSC, you need to understand that how you need to study the subject from the perspective of UPSC. How UPSC will, what kind of questions UPSC will ask, how much relevant, how much how much you should focus in a particular subject so that you should be able to answer the questions being asked by UPSC. So you are not here to become a subject expert. You are here to study the subject from the point of view of UPSC. Same rule applies for what? GS2. It's not only about optional, it's about GS also. So you can't be lost in your optional. If optional is 500, GS is how many marks? 1000 marks. So you have to do justice, which is one of the important concept of your PSIR, that is justice. You have to do justice with your GS too. So if you will keep studying your optional, you will end up compromising your GS. So you need to balance out both. Okay. So do not try to become subject expert, neither in GS, neither in your optional. You are not studying geography to become geography. Online students, I hope now I am audible. So nothing important has been said by me. I just said that the two important concepts are state and power. And you all are here not to study the subjects, not to become subject expert. You are here to study the subject from the perspective of UPSC. ठीक है ना? So इस बात को दिमाग में रखना. You need to keep reminding yourself that I do not need to dig too deep. Okay. So when we start with the philosophers, if you see your syllabus, it has two parts, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 part A is about what? What will start with? What is the most important thing in your paper 1 part A? Philosophers, right? Like we have a philosopher that is Plato. We have a philosopher like Aristotle. I said, is Garner a this statement was given by that political science begins and ends with state. And this was said by Garner. Is Garner a philosopher? Is Garner a philosopher? So how you will see Garner? Who Garner is? Scholar. And we are saying Plato is a philosopher. Why we are saying Plato is a philosopher? Why we are saying Plato is a philosopher? Who are philosophers? I told this thing in the orientation class in a very lucid manner, in a very simple way. I've seen we are done with political science, but we cannot express in words that who is philosopher. आपने पूरी Western philosophy पढ़ ली, and if anyone is asking you who is philosopher, you are not able to answer who is a philosopher. So again, I'll ask, are you here to become a philosopher? नहीं. ठीक है ना, philosopher बनने नहीं है. Are you here to become a scholar? So do you need to study Plato from the perspective of a scholar? You need to dig deep into Plato. You need to read books written by Plato, or you need to know that much about Plato, which is important from UPSC point of view. So, ठीक है ना, याद रखना है line. When I'll start Plato, you will be so interested to know Plato. Few of you, despite these warnings, that you will keep reading about more and more about what? Plato. And if you'll keep reading about Plato and Plato, what you will end up doing? Becoming a scholar on Plato. You do not need to waste your life studying Plato because there are already many who have done that. Okay. And if any discussions on Plato have to take place in future, they will be invited in those seminar. Okay, what is your opinion on Plato? So you are aspiring to for civil services, for bureaucracy, where your area of expertise is not what all has been said by Plato, right? So what Plato said, why we need to study Plato, is what Plato said holds any relevance in the present days or in the present times? Okay. Is what was said by Machiavelli still holds any significance and relevance in the present times? Yes. So this much we need to understand what all was said by them, and do their teachings hold any relevance in the contemporary times? And these kind of questions will be asked by UPSC, Plato's ideas. So if the question is coming on 200 words, you have to just write 200 words. So you do not need to read the books being written by Plato. We just need to analyze Plato from the light of whom? The scholars who have already done a lot of work on whom? Plato. So what is philosophy? Philosophy is giving ideas. Okay. What is philosophy? Philosophy is giving ideas. Anyone who will give something new idea in the world will be seen as philosopher. Like Marx. Marx will be seen as philosopher. He gave the idea of communism. Okay. Plato gave the idea of ideal state. Plato gave the idea of philosopher king. That state should be governed by whom? A philosopher, the person who holds knowledge. So those who will give ideas, they are philosophers. Okay? So philosophy is giving ideas. When these ideas are being given, when these ideas are given with a motive, with a particular objective, so a politically motivated idea will become ideology. So you can write this thing. A politically motivated idea is ideology. Though in detail, we'll write all these things later. So we have ideologies in this subject. And there's always a subjectivity. There is always a question mark that whether the person who is giving the idea is a philosopher or a ideologue. Was Plato philosopher or was Plato ideologue? Because there are scholars who have criticized Plato for giving the idea with the objective to acquire power. And if Plato's idea will be seen that his aspiration was to acquire power, he will turn from philosopher to ideologue. Okay, na? So fascism is a ideology. Whenever we attach the word ism, it turns into what? Ideologies. Okay, na? So these philosophers has given what? Theories. These philosophers has given theories. Aristotle has given his theory. Machiavelli has given his theory. Marx has given his own theory. Plato has given the theory of justice. So philosophers has given theories. What is theory? Systematic explanation of idea is theory. What is theory? Systematic explanation of idea. Once you are systematically explaining any idea, it becomes what? Theory. Underline this word systematic. Systematic explanation of ideas theory. Political science. And the word we are using with this subject is science. But political science as a subject is seen as subject of humanities. Then why we are using the word science with a subject of political science? Universal application is ka. Systematic study. What separates a subject of humanities from a subject of science? In science, we have universal laws. In humanities, we do not have laws. We only have theory. So in this subject, we have a lot of theories. But theory is being given systematically. So systematically explanation of idea is theory. Systematic explanation of idea is theory. As the endeavor is to explain the things systematically, that's why the word science is being attached with the subject of political science. Because political science is the systematic study of politics. So what political science is? Systematic study of politics. As we are going for systematic study, that's why we are using the word science. Okay, na? So what this subject is all about? This subject is systematic study of politics, and the word politics and political has evolved from which word? Polis, and polis means city state. तो ये भी आपने लिखना तो लिख लो. The word political has evolved from the Greek word polis. The word politics has evolved from the Greek word polis. And polis means city state, and that's why state is the central concept in the subject of political science. Okay, na? What state is, how state has evolved, all these things will explain you tomorrow in detail. Means on Monday next class. ठीक है ना? State होता क्या है, nation और state में difference क्या है, how state as a concept has evolved. So this subject revolves around state and power. ये एंड में करवा करना ये सब चीज. So the subject matter of our paper 1 is theories. Theories are about systematic explanation of ideas. Who has given these ideas? Philosophers. So we'll study Western political thought. In Western political thought, we're going to study about Western philosophers and the theories being given by them. Okay. Then in this part, we're going to study about ideologies. What are ideologies? Systematic, when the idea is big, idea given with the objective to acquire power, it turns into what? Ideology. Okay. This is paper 1 part A. Paper 1 part A. Paper 1 part B is about IGP, Indian government and politics. Okay. IGP, Indian government politics, which will help you in your GS paper 2. And much better understanding of Indian polity and the constitution. Okay. This part will going to help you in GS paper 4, ethics, because the roots of the subject lies in philosophy. Okay. It will help you in GS paper 4 to better frame the case studies. You will have a better understanding of the concepts like justice, liberty, equality, and with a better understanding of these concepts, you will be in a position to frame your answers in a much better way of your GS paper 4. Okay, because in this we are going to study about Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, and ethics as a subject evolved from where? Philosophy only. If I ask you, like, all these concepts are very subjective concepts. Okay, your subject of political, this subject of political science is the most democratic subject. The statement goes for PSIR or for this subject that this is the most objective concept. Oh, sorry, this is the most democratic subject. Why this subject is seen as the most democratic subject? Because there is no one definition. You are free to choose sides. Okay, you are free to take whatever side you want to, as there are multiple interpretations of the same thing. If I ask, out of these three concepts, justice, liberty, and equality, what do you think is the most important concept out of these three? Justice, liberty, equality. Okay, if you have to choose in between liberty and equality, what do you think is more important to achieve first, liberty or equality? Liberty. You want liberty first or you want equality first? Socialist believes in equality. Liberals believe in liberty. Okay. Is equality an objective concept or equality a subjective concept? How equality is a subjective concept? We as a state, we as a country is aspiring for what? Equality. What kind of equality we are aspiring for? Socio-economic equality. Everyone should be equal economically. Okay. We want equality of outcomes or we want equality of opportunity? Who aspire for equality of outcomes? Marxist socialist. Because socialists aspire for equality of outcome, this led to its failure because it is not possible to have a complete economic equality. It is a utopian concept to hold. At max, what we can aspire for is equality of opportunity. You all have equal opportunity to qualify UPSC. Do you think you all have equal in India, people have equal opportunity to qualify UPSC? No, on paper, yes, because we have so much of disparities. Good quality education is not available for all because we do not have a good quality education available for all. That's why we are far from achieving the objective of what? Equality of opportunity. And that's why education should be the responsibility of whom? State. And that's what Plato said, education should not be in the private hands. और हम सब यहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं? ये बात प्लेटो कह के गया था, ठीक है? Education should be the responsibility of the state. So there, what they said still holds relevant and valid or not? Yes. Okay. A lot of queries were there on the mail, and many of you were asking about this answer writing, about the test series. So how we'll able to write test, answer writing, and answer writing. A lot of concern about answer writing. Let me give you, before telling you more, let me tell you this thing first. This is not the time to be too concerned about what? Answer writing. This is the time you should first build understanding of concepts. Without understanding of the concepts, it's futile to go for what? Answer writing. First, have a good understanding of the concepts. Have good notes with you, that is content. Once you have a content, you need to revise it multiple times, which is known as the consolidation of the content. And the last aspect of your answer, of your preparation, is compilation. So compilation is the last step of your preparation. Do not rush towards the last step of your preparation, that is compilation. So for the first few months of your preparation, you need to focus on, or you need to focus towards what? Concept building. First, build the concepts first, understand the things. Once you have a complete understanding of the concepts, only then we're going to shift towards the last aspect of our preparation, that is compilation. So do not be too concerned first thing about the books. You do not need to read too many books. The class notes and the material which I'm going to give you during the classes will be more than enough to do justice with the subject. Okay. Do not be too concerned about material कि सर material इकट्ठा कर ले. Material नहीं इकट्ठा करना बहुत सारा प्लेटो पर. मैं बार बार प्लेटो इसलिए कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि अभी आपने जिन्होंने पढ़ा नहीं है, you will be, because it happens in every batch. The moment we'll start discussion on Plato, everyone comes under the spell of Plato. जादूगर था प्लेटो, ठीक है? So आप उसके बहुत ज्यादा इम्प्रेस हो जाते हो और फिर आपको लगता है बस प्लेटो ही पढ़ना मेरे जीवन का मकसद है. So you will going to shift away from your main goal if you will read too much on Plato. You do not have to read anything about, you do not have to dig deep any of the topic in your preparation, because you never know finally that the question on that topic will come in the mains or not. And even if the question will come, it will going to be at max of 10 to 12 marks. So you need to have that much of content that whether you are in a position to write 200 to 250 words on that topic or not. Itna content chahiye hame. Okay? So you do not be, there is no need to be too concerned about what? Books. You should not be concerned about notes. Your focus should be whether you are able to build the understanding or not. If you have any doubt in the understanding part, you feel free to ask your doubts multiple times. And that should, for the time being, your focus should be on concept building, whether you are able to understand the things or not properly. Okay? Answer writing nahi. Abhi answer writing ko bilkul sochna bhi mat. There is no need to have any concern towards answer writing. ठीक है ना? Answer writing last part होता है preparation का. To give you more clarity on this aspect, those who have not attended the GS, I always tell this thing to the students that UPSC answer writing is not about writing right and wrong. UPSC answer writing is all about what? How you will improve with time. If I'll ask you right now to write 200 words on pollution, I hope all of you can write on pollution. First essay, what was the first topic, if you remember, on which you might have written an essay? याद है? Cow. Cow पे लिखा था. Myself, my family, my father, whatever you wrote at that time. If you have to write today also on the same topic, do you think you will write the same? और कुछ improve करोगे उसे? Why? Because now you have a better vocabulary. So answer writing is about having the vocabulary of the topic, having the better understanding of the topic, and better interlinkages you will able to impart to your answer. A student who is doing graduation can also write on pollution. A student who is in school for sure can write on pollution. And if you are done with GS, I hope you can write a much better answer on pollution. Why? Because now you have a better vocabulary. So you will evolve in answer writing. Your answers will start improving. First, you will write average answers. Then your answers will be bit better. Okay. And with time, you will start compiling the answers as per the demand of UPSC. So when might be here and there, you might have heard that toppers saying, I started writing answers from the first week of my preparation, and it has been already 7 months and you have not written any answer. So might be you will feel that I'm not doing something right with my preparation. Topper is not telling you that what the person was writing at that time was just wasting the time and writing crap. ये तो नहीं बताया ना उसने कि मैं कैसे आंसर्स लिखता था. ये बताया ना मैं लिखता था या लिखती थी. So do not fall into these kind of things. And first year of your preparation, devote to have a good content with you, both in GS and in optional. Once you have the content, revise multiple times, build understanding, have vocabulary, and then we will work a lot towards framing answers. You can't qualify mains without learning the skill and the art of writing good answers. It is not possible, but that will take time, and that thing will do later. For example, if I'll ask you, this statement was given by the US President Obama when he came to India and he addressed the joint session of Indian Parliament, that India is not emerging. India has already emerged on world stage. This question was there in the mains also. India is not emerging. India has already emerged on world stage. Do you think this is the right statement? Because you can't afford to say no, because this was given by whom? US President. If you are saying this is totally absurd, means you are questioning the rationality of whom? US President. You आए थे इंडिया को पीस करने के लिए, statement पार्लियामेंट में कह के चले गए. You can't doubt this statement that India is not emerging. India has already emerged. Now you need to what? Write points. Because if the question is substantiate or comment, you need to write what? Points in favor of this statement. What points you can write to clearly reflect that yes, it is right to say that yes, we are not emerging, we have already emerged. Kya points add karoge? Before you add the points, let's say right now you can write 4 points. Once we'll discuss the world dynamics and the global dynamics and you are reading your newspapers, in future you will able to write 10 points in favor of this statement. Who will fetch more marks? The one who will write 10 points. So UPSC answer writing is all about points. It is not rocket science. You need to have what? Content. Just 12th class mein likhe the, graduation mein likha tha, same here. You need to have first what? Content with you. Without content, can you write answer for this question? Nothing technical. First, you should have the content. Questions are, if you see your previous year papers, if you have a bit of idea about a subject, if you see previous year papers, you will see questions are not difficult in main. UPSC do not ask difficult question. Challenge is to compile answers. Answer writing is difficult. Questions are not difficult. Okay, completing your paper in the stipulated time, that is the biggest challenge in writing mains, because you have to write so much. Okay, so for this you need to work a lot. For this, first we need to consolidate, and we'll try to understand as much as possible, so that we need to cram less, and we should able to write so many things from our understanding. Okay. Tell me, give me few points in favor of this statement if you can. And I'll expect those who have attended the GS should not. Those who have not done GS with me, they should give me few points so that I can understand the level of this particular class, that how much you know and how much I have to tell from my side. Very good. Very good. Okay. Tell me point, how in political sense, how we can say we are not emerging, we have emerged. Okay. Technologically, क्या कर दिया हमने ऐसा technologically? कौन सा तीर चलाया? Mars mission. Okay, so India is a strong space power, as we are able to successfully achieve the Mars mission. Third or fourth in the country to done that. Fourth, and first one who is successfully able to do in the first attempt. अब आपने ये point बोला, ये point बोला. These are, if you write these, are these what you are saying is wrong? No, but it is not. Rather than, there are few better points you could have given to substantiate the answer for this question. There are so many other points which will clearly establish the fact we are not emerging, we have already emerged. This is what UPSC answer writing is all about, not right and wrong. It's about how better you could have framed. Any other point? Quad. We are nuclear power since 98. What special we have done now, which clearly established? Arey, one of the strongest contender for permanent membership. And out of P5, 4 permanent members supports India's entry in UN as a permanent member. So one of the point in favor of India is what? One of the strongest contender for permanent membership. Only country in the world not signatory to NPT, but has able to attain what? Waiver from NSG. Those who are not aware about this waiver issue, you will able to understand later. Only country who has been given this waiver is whom? India. This speaks volume about the rising profile of Indian world stage or not? Who has given vaccines to the world? You should have said this. आप समझ रहे हो आंसर राइटिंग? तो आंसर राइटिंग का भूत उतार दो, ठीक है ना? वैक्सीन डिप्लोमेसी. Who has given the vaccine? Who is seen as the pharma of the world? India. In the Ukraine war, the leaders of the world came to where? So that they look towards whom to mediate and bring peace in Europe? India. Who is organizing the G20 summit right now? India. Who has been invited a special invitation to India in G7? India. फिर ये हैं points which clearly reflects the rising profile of India on world stage. तो अब देख लो आंसर राइटिंग. आप क्या लिख रहे थे? हम डेमोक्रेसी तो 47 से हैं. आज थोड़ी ना बने हम डेमोक्रेसी. We are democracy since 47. What's so special now? Special now is out of 5, 4 strongly supports India entry in UN as a permanent member. This is the special thing, because earlier US used to support Japan and Germany, and now US has started supporting whom? India's entry in UN as a permanent member, and they also believe UN will be more inclusive if India will able to enter into UN as a permanent member. ये change हुआ, ठीक है ना? Third largest economy in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity. This is the change you can see in the profile of India in global politics. Okay, so this is what answer writing is all about. That without content, you cannot frame your answers. So first understand that first thing you need to have is understanding, and then you need to have a content, and then you need to learn the vocabulary of the subject. ठीक? Then paper 2 is about so paper 1 part A, then paper 2 part A and part B. When you see this subject of political science, this subject has political theories, comparative politics, and international relations. That's how we divide this subject of political science in 3 subparts: theories, comparative politics, and international relations. So paper 1, Western political thought, philosophers and theories. Now paper 2 is about comparative politics. Then concepts of IR. One of the core concept of this subject is, concept of IR is power. What states are aspiring for is power. States are aspiring for power. That's why world politics is seen as power politics. So again, GS students should not answer for the time being. So states are aspiring for power and you all are aspiring for power. And if you attended GS classes, no. So if let's say you are sitting in front of the board and board will, you attended the orientation also? No. And if board will ask you, so you are aspiring for power, you will accept this, that yes, I am aspiring for power? नहीं कहोगे, क्या कहोगे? What you are aspiring for? Then why you want to join services if you are not aspiring for power? Why you want to join civil services? कैसे कहोगे? मुझे भी बताओ, औरों का भला हो जाए, कैसे diplomacy करोगे? So you think you have learned the art of diplomacy. Diplomacy is art of lying. So you will lie. What you will say? Why you are aspiring? Okay, is it bad if you are aspiring for power? बुरा नहीं है power के लिए aspire करना. Conviction है इस बात पर. You all are convinced with this aspect that it's totally fine if you are aspiring for power. Yeah. So aspiration for power is not wrong. Every state is aspiring for what? Power. World politics is power politics. India wants to become superpower. US wants to protect its superpower status. Okay, China wants to topple US and China itself wants to become what? A superpower. So states are aspiring for power and world politics is power politics. Okay, so why you are aspiring for power? करेंगे इस पर बात. Okay, reason for which you are aspiring for power. So states, world politics, power politics, and India is aspiring to become superpower. Do you think India will able to become superpower? पक्का? क्या लगता है कब तक? By which year do you think that we'll able to achieve the objective of becoming a superpower? Can we frame a timeline for this? Okay, how will become superpower? कैसे बनेंगे superpower? Who will make India superpower? You in future? अपने पे trust नहीं है? हाँ? Who will make India superpower? You. Huh? You will make India superpower. So are you sure we'll able to become superpower? नहीं. Doubt है. अगर doubt है तो आज के लिए थोड़ी चीजें GS स्टूडेंट्स के लिए रिपीट हो सकती हैं, बट बाकियों के लिए इट्स फॉर अदर्स, इट इज समथिंग न्यू. सो आई हैव टू टेल ऑल दीज थिंग्स. सो यू हैव डाउट एंड योर डाउट्स आर राइट. If you have, do you think it is possible to have a nuke-free world where every country will be ready to dismantle their nuclear arsenal and we do not have nuclear weapons in the world? Do you think it is possible to have nuke-free world? No. Nuke-free world नहीं achieve कर सकते. State will always keep their nuclear arsenal intact. Very good. Do you think it is possible to end terrorism in the world? हाँ, big challenge to है. Yes or no? What do you think? It is possible that we'll have there is no terrorist violence, nahin? Okay, control it, but we will never be able to eradicate. Okay. Is it possible to solve the issue of Kashmir with Pakistan? आप terrorism जो मना कर रहे थे, हाँ, आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ. Do you think it is possible to solve the issue of Kashmir? नहीं? Very good. आप समझ ही रहे हो कि GS स्टूडेंट्स है ना, क्या माइंडसेट है. राइट? सो कश्मीर नहीं सॉल्व हो सकता, बिल्कुल सही बात है ना? कश्मीर इशू सॉल्व हो सकता है? जी अटेंड किया था? नहीं, फिर भी लगता है कश्मीर सॉल्व हो सकता है? वेरी गुड. You understand the issue of Naxalism, which is one of the prominent threat in India? You think it is possible to end Naxalism in the country? लगता है हो सकता है. And we'll be able to solve the issue of oxygen with China? नहीं. क्या आंसर राइटिंग करेंगे? ठीक है ना? अभी जब हम, आप समझ रहे हो आंसर राइटिंग क्या करें हम? आप मुझे मैसेज करे जाओ, सर आंसर राइटिंग बता दो पहले. ये आंसर राइटिंग तो तब बताऊंगा ना, पहले. कश्मीर सॉल्व हो नहीं सकता, ऑक्साइचिन कभी नहीं होगा, न्यूक फ्री वर्ल्ड पॉसिबल नहीं है, वर्ल्ड में पीस हो नहीं सकता. तो आप यहाँ क्यों बैठे हो? घर बैठो जाके. व्हाई यू आर हियर? गो एंड sip coffee, and when you know nothing is possible, you in future as a diplomat of India, and government wants to send you to a summit where the discussion on nuke free world is about to take place. क्या करोगे वहां जाके? कॉफी पीने जा रहे हैं? हाँ? ये तो ना हो पाएगा. अच्छा जाओ पाकिस्तान से डिस्कशन कर लो, कश्मीर इशू सॉल्व करना है. What you will go, what with which mindset you will go there? With which mindset you will go there? Because you have a conviction and belief that Kashmir issue can't be settled, right? So answer writing, understand this. This is what I'm telling you is not answer writing. This is not, I'm telling you about something about your subject. What I'm telling you is the approach which you need to hold till the time you are preparing for UPSC at least. When we say UPSC, interview is a test of personality. What personality they are looking forward to in those 15-20 minutes? What they are checking in the aspirant? ये तो यार आप मत बोलो ना, फीलिंग्स को कंट्रोल रखो. हाँ, what board is looking forward in the candidate in those 15-20 minutes? क्या लगता है? Positive approach that Kashmir can't be solved, nuke free world is not possible. Board पूछा, is it possible to have a nuke free world? You are saying no sir, soon we'll have a nuclear war with Pakistan. Your answers, when we say you have to conclude, on which note you will going to conclude your answer? Showing a very bleak picture about the world, or showing or projecting that yes, future will be a much better, world will be a better place to live in future? How you will write your answers? World will be a better place to live. India will be a much better country to live, and soon things will change in India positively. And who will do that? You. Onus falls on whom? You. So let's say if I would have asked, is UN relevant? One of the very relevant question of UPSC mains. Is UN relevant? Because UN has failed to prevent the war in Ukraine. UN has failed to deter Russia. There was no presence of UN in Afghanistan. It was US who started the war and US left. And the UN failed to do anything in that issue too. Right now, Taliban has took over the power forcefully in Afghanistan, and there is no UN there, right? UN has failed to stop the proliferation of nuclear weapon. One of the agency of UN, WHO, failed to prevent what? COVID. UN has failed to settle down the issue of Kashmir, Israel, Palestine. UN has failed to give a solution for the issues of conflict. Is UN, and UN has a hegemony of P5, and especially the hegemony of US, is UN relevant? किसी काम का है UN? No. और बनना क्या है? IFS. और IFS बन के कहां जाना है? UN, जो क्या है? Irrelevant. क्या चलेगा काम if you will hold these kind of dichotomies in your mind, right? So you can be satisfied with UN and you can be dissatisfied. Yes, problems hai. What is the stand of India right now in the present times? What is the stand of your government on UN? We are not satisfied, but we think if you will bring us and give us permanent membership, we will make it more relevant. So who will make UN relevant? We. Yes, there are issues in the country. यही तो कहोगे ना बोर्ड को जाके, सर बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स है कंट्री के साथ. So what to do? Make me IAS. यही तो कहोगे ना. और ये कहोगे सर बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. ओके तो सर कुछ नहीं, आप देख लो. I तो just came here to acquire power. हाँ. We are looking forward towards you. Board is looking towards you, the younger lot, who will give what solutions for these issues. And you are holding what? A pessimistic outlook about the world and about the country. Is it possible to have world peace? So you can be satisfied, you can be dissatisfied. Individual. What kind of personalities we need? World needs and India needs. Progressive individual. You are satisfied with the things, but you hold a lot of pessimism. What you are? Conservative. Old age is always what? Conservative. Youth is always what? What kind of youth I am facing? Who does not hold what? Optimism. You are holding what? Pessimism. So what age you have attained? Old age. Biologically you are young. Mentally you have become what? Old. So one is biological age, other is mental age. Biologically might be you are 60, but still you hold lot of what? Optimism. What kind of individual you are? Progressive. What kind of bureaucrats we need? What kind of leaders we need? You are dissatisfied. You are free to be dissatisfied. Jitna marji criticism likho apne answer mein. But in the end, you need to write what? Solution, optimism. What you are? Radical. You need to be on this side of the quadrant in your mains, and you need to be on this side of quadrant in your interview. अब आप इंटरव्यू में ऐसे आंसर्स देके आओगे तो कैसा लगेगा? This is called generation gap. हमने किसी बूढ़े को भर्ती कर लिया है. This is called generation gap because youth is always progressive and with time we turn what? Conservatives. You are dissatisfied and you are pessimist also. What you are? Regressive. You are a regressive personality. 60 marks देके बोर्ड भगा देगा. इसको तो बिल्कुल we should not allow this individual to come into bureaucracy because this person is what? Dissatisfied, pessimist. To these people only PM Modi in parliament said आंदोलन जीवी. ये क्या करते हैं? ये आपके DM ऑफिस के बाहर जाके आंदोलन करते हैं. So if you will ask them, okay, you take power and do things better, they will run away. They will protest whatever you will do. And the moment you will ask them, okay, you do the things in a better way, what they will do? They will run away. And once those who are extreme regressive, they are Naxal. Nothing is possible and every solution they try to find from the gun. Naxals or terrorist. So you should not end up in this particular quadrant. ठीक है? तो आंसर राइटिंग अभी बहुत दूर की बात है. You need to write your answers which should reflect what? Progressive or your radical personality. Is nuke-free world possible? India will become superpower? Naxalism will be able to settle or solve? Yes. Kashmir issue can be solved? Aksai Chin can be solved? Who will solve? There are challenges. Everything is possible and so many things comes with what? Challenges, and that's what you have to write in your answers, challenges and the solution. You are running your own organization, let's say, and you are taking interview. A person comes and tell you the problems of your organization. You are asking, okay, where's the solution? The person is asking, what will be my salary? Will you recruit? So you want someone to tell you the problems or someone who will able to offer you what? The world needs a whom? World needs progressive, radical individuals who can make world a better place. ठीक है? ऐसे आंसर्स लिखने हैं, झूठ लिखना है. डिप्लोमेसी इज आर्ट ऑफ लाइंग. अब तक आपको सबने सिखाया क्या? सच बोलो. अब हम सीखेंगे 6 महीने झूठ कैसे बोलो. सच यही है, that you have to tell sweet lies. S. Jaishankar, whole day keep lying. Every diplomat in the world is just what? Lying. And you will start seeing this. कितना झूठ बोलेगा भाई. ठीक है? Quad is not a military alliance. आपको पता है Quad क्या है? military alliance hai. Will you accept Quad is a military alliance? We do not interfere in the internal affairs of our neighboring countries. Do you think we do not? Do you think we do? Will you accept that? No. You working as a diplomat in Nepal. Okay. Will you tell in front of the, will you say this thing in the press conference? Yesterday only, we have funded the election of the opposition party. Will you do this? No, but for sure, this is your job. यही तो job है. क्या करना? Elections rig करना. कहाँ पर? Neighborhood में. ठीक है? Will you able to do that? If not, you will going to hurt the interest of the country. Okay, so answer writing is about, first you need to understand the nuances of the things. So everything is possible and everything comes with lot of challenges. Okay, na? So we'll be able to make India superpower. Yes. Will India able to acquire permanent membership in UN? कर लेंगे ना हम acquire, yes. ठीक. And when we, so there are concepts, and the core concept of the subject of IR is power. Right. When there are theories in your paper 2 also. And there are scholars. Now in GS, I've just given you the overview. Here we are going to discuss things in detail, and we'll tell you you need to remember the name of the scholars also, who are seen as idealists. Name of scholars who are realists. And the roots of realism lies in Machiavelli. Okay. So when we will try to find from where this idea, which has been systematically explained, who was the first one to do that? We find it was Machiavelli and Kautilya. So there are Indian leaders who said, this is just the dominance, hegemony of the West, that you are saying the roots of realism lies in Machiavelli. In fact, the time of Kautilya came much earlier. So it is more appropriate to say that Machiavelli was Indian Kautilya rather than Kautilya was Indian Machiavelli. This was said by Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay. So Kautilya said the main thing what Kautilya said, that neighbors are the potential enemies. First conflict is bound to erupt between whom? Neighbors. And one of the major threat in front of India's foreign policy is two-front war. So Kautilya's learning still holds valid or not? Yes. And two-front war is the biggest threat. And since independence, what kind of foreign policy we are pursuing? Neighborhood first. And we forgot our own ancient wisdom, because Kautilya has told us way back, neighbors are threat, and we are trying to have good cordial ties with whom? Neighbors. Take. So idealists have emphasized on what? Peace, while realists have emphasized on the concept of power. And according to realists, states will keep aspiring for power. They will never stop from acquiring power and more power. Why states aspire for power and they want to keep aspiring for power? What is power? Give me the definition of power. What is power? Ability to influence, not control. Sorry, online students, I'm not able to see your answers in chat box. It's just not possible. You have to, I'll unmute and you can give your answers. Okay. So what is power? Power is the ability to influence, right? So power, why states aspire for power? Because power increases the chances of survival. So why states aspire for power? For survival, and survival is the core interest. What is the core interest? Core means most important. What is the core interest of every living being on this planet Earth? Survival. What is your core interest? Survival. So why you are aspiring for power? The reality is survival, because power increases the chances of survival. Okay, so core interest is survival, and this is the only reason why we aspire for power, why states aspire for power. Okay, power means you have a control over resources. More control you have on the resources, more is the chances of what? Your survival. So what you want is control over resources, so that you should be able to survive in future. If again you are a bureaucrat, you are an administrator, you are a DM of the district, and again any epidemic will come in the future, who will get the first vaccine? DM, IS. So this is the only reason why you are aspiring for power. Reality is this. But if you have to say this, what you will say? That you are aspiring for power so that you can survive better? ऐसे बोलोगे? क्या बोलोगे? Why you are aspiring for power?
To empower.
ये सब GS स्टूडेंट्स बोले जा रहे हैं, इनसे कंट्रोल नहीं हो रहा इनसे, है ना? ठीक है, यूपीएससी में जो मैंने नहीं बताया आपको जीएस में, ठीक है, ये तो बता देता हूं अभी. 2 other personality traits, if you do not have, start working on these 2 personality traits which you need to acquire. One is responsibility. Power comes with, are you responsible? If you are not, start becoming responsible. ठीक है, power comes with responsibility. UPSC you will never able to acquire if you are not responsible, and UPSC expects a lot that you should be responsible. So now from now onwards, if you are coming into the how you can become responsible, start doing small things. Coming to the class, do bring your notebook and pen with you. आज पेन नहीं मिल रहा, फिर गन नहीं मिलेगी. ठीक है सर, गन खो गई सर, बुलेट्स नहीं थी, वहां टेररिस्ट अटैक हो रहा है. कमिश्नर as an IPS, can you afford as an officer, can you afford to behave like this? सर मेरी गन पता नहीं कहाँ है, मैं नहीं पहुंच पा रहा सर. No. So small things you need to inculcate. One of the aspirant was refused to enter into the final mains examination hall because person forgot to bring the admit card, and later the person committed suicide यहीं करोल बाग में. But सबने टीचर को, बहुत जालिम टीचर है, should have allowed. But you need to understand, if you can't bring your admit card as an aspirant and you are aspiring for what? Power. The destiny of so many will be in your hand as a DM. So it is much expected from you that you need to be much more responsible. This separates a common man from an administrator and an officer. And you are aspiring to become an officer as an IPS, IAS. Lot of responsibility of the district will be in your hand. ठीक है ना, तो ऐसी चीजें आप नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकते. So you need to be responsible. And second thing is patience. Start listening and have lot of patience in you. UPSC exam itself is a game of what? Patience. ये बहुत काम आने वाली है आपके. ठीक है, as an officer also you will be require lot of patience because gun will be in your hand. Okay, so if you will be impatient, there is all possibility. If you will not like someone and something, you can use it. तो अपना patience, तो जो बहुत aggression है उसको control करना पड़ता है, and you need to have lot of patience. Okay. So when I'm saying GS students should not speak, so what I'm expecting you guys, that you should be patient. पूछूंगा मैं आपसे बहुत कुछ, फिर आंसर करना, ठीक है? But patience है, जैसी examiner ने, the board has not finished yet, board has not completed the question, you have started giving the answer. यही तो पता है, जल्दी से बता दें, है ना? This is the common mistake being committed while doing the pre, and if you are impatient, you will going to commit lot of blunders. You will end up doing lot of blunders in your pre-exam. Okay, so start working on this, that you need to be patient. Okay, so reality is why you want power, so that you can survive. Power increases the chances of survival. But what you will say, why you are aspiring for power? Empower. You can't empower others if you do not have power. So reality is survival, but projection is what you will say, that why you are aspiring for UPSC? Acquire power. What you will do with power? Empower. You can't empower anyone without you being in power. Okay, later you will understand there's a clear difference between these two words, development and empowerment. Never say I'm aspiring for UPSC to bring development. You can't develop anyone. What you can do at max is empower. That's why we talk about women empowerment, not women development. Can men develop women? ये तो clear है, huh? No, right? Men can't develop women. Why? Because they do not understand they can't understand what? Bolo, why men can't develop women? The belief of feminists that men can't develop women. Why? And feminism is one of the important topic of our syllabus. And every year UPSC is asking a full-fledged question on feminism. Why, according to feminists, men can't develop women? Because they can't understand women. इसमें कौन सा rocket science है? Because they can't understand women. When someone can't understand something, is it possible men can decide what you need? I'm talking about women. Is it possible for men to decide what you need? No. So who can develop women? Women. And that's why we need what? Women empowerment. How you empower women? How you will empower women? Do you think the girls who are sitting in the class, they are empowered enough? Empowerment comes from education. So how you will empower in future as an administrator? Educate. And education should be the responsibility of whom? State. Plateau. Okay. So realist believes in power politics, and according to realist, states will never shy away from acquiring power and more power. This power rivalry will never end. Because power rivalry will never end, that's why the belief of realist is wars are inevitable. No matter what, states will keep fighting war. We can't prevent wars. This is the belief of realist. Do you think it is possible to prevent wars? Do you think it is possible to prevent wars? Yes. The whole history of human civilization is about wars. When you will study history, if you are not done with GS, ancient history of human is about what? What are you going to study in ancient history? Wars. Medieval history is about? Modern history is about wars, imperialism and all. So human can't live in peace. If we go into the history, what conclusion we can derive is that whole history of human civilization is about wars. It means humans can't live in peace. And if humans can't live in peace, how you will prevent war in future? Do you think India strongly believe that day will come when we have to fight war? आंसर तो करो चीजों का. आंसर राइटिंग पूछ रहे थे ना आप में से लगातार कितने स्टूडेंट्स ने पूछा, तो कैसे करोगे आंसर राइटिंग? अब समझ रहे हो? First thing, start this class with keep this thing in your mind and give this input that for the time being you know nothing. Who said that I know nothing? And that's why he's considered as the wisest man who has ever walked on the planet. Who is known as the wisest man who has ever walked on the planet? Socrates. And why he is known as the wisest man? Because he said, I know nothing. So if anyone will ask you from now onward, that tell me this, what you can say? I know nothing. Okay. And do consider me as what? The wisest. Exam mein na likhana, I know nothing. Okay. Right. So the whole history of civilization is about wars. When history speaks that wars, we cannot prevent wars. Do you think India has a conviction and belief? I'm talking about India. Do you think India has a conviction and belief that day will come when we have to fight wars? कैसे कह सकते हैं? आपको कैसे पता है बात? How you can say this, that yes, we have a conviction and a belief that day will come when we fight war?
Resources depletion.
Hanji, Rashmita?
So resource depletion across the world. So there are chances.
Resources are always in crunch. Okay. Anything else which clearly reflects, yes, we are planning for a war. You think so?
No, not at all.
We are not planning for war. Then why we have S-400? Why we are acquiring Rafale? Let's spend the money to improve the HDI. Why we are keeping nuclear weapon intact? China is planning for war. Or
Yes.
preparing for war. Every country is preparing for war. Belief of whom? A realist. And they will come when they have to fight war. So belief of realist is that we cannot prevent wars. And that's why you can clearly see every country is spending so heavily to enhance their defense capability. So in the end, we can say that every country in the world is preparing for war. Hello? Yes. And that's why realism is seen as timeless wisdom in this subject. The most important theory of your subject of paper 2 is realism. Realism is seen as timeless wisdom, right? All wars in the world till date has been fought for 3 Gs. What are these 3 Gs? Gold, resources, and resources will always remain in crunch. So every war is being fought for gold, glory. I should be remembered way back once I am gone, Alexander. Okay. Gold, glory, and gospel, religion. British came, and with them came whom? Missionaries to spread Christianity. Islamic rulers took it as their divine duty to spread what? Religion. So gold, glory, and gospel are the 3 reasons for all wars. How to prevent wars? And failure of diplomacy is what? Wars. And you are aspiring to become what? Diplomat and or bureaucrat. And diplomats' responsibility is to prevent what? Wars. Because once diplomacy will fail, it will lead to what? War. And whose role will become more prominent? Army and military. Okay? So हमें wars को prevent करना है और wars को diplomats prevent करते हैं. And after idealism, realism comes the third school of this. Actually, realism सबसे tall है. Third school comes in this subject, that is liberalism. Liberalism. So liberalism as an ideology, we will study in paper 1. Liberalism as a theory in IR, we will study in paper 2. Okay? Liberalism. Where people have what? Liberalism means what? Liberalism as a word emerged from liberty, where people have liberty. Okay? So, paper 2. After the basic concepts of IR, comparative politics, we have India and the world. To study India and the world, it's not like that India and the world, you have to focus the dynamics of our ties with all the countries in the world. We do not have to study IR like this. Okay. How many countries do we have in the world? दुनिया में कितने देश हैं? रुक जाओ.
193.
अरे रुक जाओ.
Sorry, sir.
It's okay. How many countries? 192. 4. 194.
193.
192. 193. 4th अभी बना नहीं. ठीक है? Which was the 193rd country in the world? South Sudan.
South Sudan.
We have 193 states. Tomorrow, Monday, you will understand what the concept of state is. Whether we use the word state or country, one and the same thing. The word nation holds a totally different meaning. I'm not asking how many nations do we have. I just said how many countries or states we have, and it is 193. So are we going to discuss the dynamics of our ties with 192 countries? It's a waste of time. Okay. So you will not going to read your newspaper. So this discussions will help you a lot this will help you so that you can understand where you need to focus in your newspapers. What kind of things are relevant and important from mains UPSC point of view. Okay. Dynamics of our ties with which countries are relevant and important. How to fetch the information from the newspapers. Okay. So, what kind of foreign policy we are pursuing since independence is a concentric circle approach. We have opted for in our foreign policy. What I said, what kind of approach we have opted for? Concentric circle approach in our foreign policy. And the core area of our focus is our immediate neighborhood. Okay. So whatever is going on, the geopolitical dynamics and the kind of engagement we have with the countries of South Asia is important and relevant. Most of the questions which will come, it will be from within the dynamics of South Asia, the geopolitical dynamics of South Asia and the engagement of India with the countries of South Asia. Okay? So when we divide Asia geographically, we divide Asia as West Asia, South Asia, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia. That's how we divide Asia geographically. And the most important player of South Asia is India. Okay. When we say immediate neighborhood, which countries comprises of our immediate neighborhood? Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. So dynamics of our bilateral ties with these countries, Indo-Pak, Indo-Bangladesh, Indo-Bhutan. We are not going to study the dynamics of our bilateral ties with all the African countries. We are not going to discuss the dynamics of our bilateral ties with European state, even in PSIR optional. How we are going to discuss the dynamics of our ties with African state? With Africa as a whole. Engagement of India with Africa. Okay. Which continent has maximum countries? Africa. किस continent में सबसे ज़्यादा countries हैं?
Africa, sir.
Europe.
Europe. Asia. और फिर बचे ही कितने हैं? हाँ? नॉर्थ अमेरिका हो नहीं सकता, और एंटार्क्टिका हो नहीं सकता, 3 ही हो सकते हैं. So which continent has maximum countries? Africa. How many countries are there in Africa? Around 53, 54. So is it worth to go to the dynamics of India with all the African states list wise? नहीं. तो MEA की वेबसाइट कभी मत देखना. ठीक है? ORF कभी किसी ने रिकमेंड किया हो तो पढ़ना छोड़ दो. ठीक? Only for the time being, if you are involved in your GS also, one newspaper, either follow Hindu or Indian Express. And how to focus on newspaper, that you will also understand through the class discussions, the things which are important to know from the IR point of view, that what you need to know, what points are important, which articles are really important. Okay, you will not going to make one-sided opinion that article has been written from the left side, might be another article has been written from the right side. You will going to be politically neutral. आपको neutral रहना है. ठीक है? So dynamics of Indo-Pak, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Do we consider, so is Afghanistan also lies in our immediate neighborhood? Because we consider POK is part of India and Afghanistan shares border with POK. So we do consider Afghanistan also lies in our immediate neighborhood. So dynamics of Indo-Afghan ties. Right? Is Afghanistan a member of SAARC?
Yes.
There is an important organization of this region, that is SAARC. SAARC stands for South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. Where is the headquarters of SAARC? And when SAARC was constituted? Which year? एक homework. This basic information about SAARC and the kind of political systems which prevails in South Asian states. What kind of political system is there within these countries of South Asia? Okay. अभी बताता हूँ. What kind of political system is there within the countries of South Asia? If I ask what kind of political system do we have in India, then what you will say? Parliamentary, federal, democratic republic. What kind of political system is there in Pakistan? कैसा है political system पाकिस्तान में? Do you think it is important for you to know? क्यों? Why? Because immediate neighborhood. Might be you have never thought that you need to know. But see, these are the most challenging postings as an IFS officer. Senior diplomats, government will going to send where? Immediate neighborhood. There is a word which I'll make you write later called sphere of influence. So India as a country wants to keep its influence intact. Where? This region, as this is our sphere of influence. Whose influence is on rise in this region? And this is one of the major challenge in front of our foreign policy. So another point which I want to tell you here is about answer writing. See, if I would have asked in the beginning of the class, what are the major challenges in front of India's foreign policy? You could have said few, but might not be in the vocabulary of the subject. The vocabulary of the subject is rising China's presence in India's sphere of influence is one of the biggest geopolitical challenge in front of India. So now this point is in the vocabulary of the subject because now you have written what? Sphere of influence. समझ में आई बात? So अभी answer writing ये समझ जाओ बस नहीं करनी अभी, ठीक है ना? So what is the political system? What kind of political system is there in Pakistan? Parliamentary hai. We know this, that military dominates. Okay. The civilian leadership is not that strong, but on paper, what Pakistan is? Parliamentary democracy, right? What is the present political system in Afghanistan? Totalitarian है. कब से? हाँ? बोलो, अरे कर ले, नीचे चला गया कोविड. Islamic Emirate, Islamic Emirate, because aspiration of Taliban has took over the power. Don't worry if you do not understand from where Taliban as an entity emerged, what they fought, what was the reason why they were fighting against US. Okay, what their aspirations are. You will understand everything when we'll come to the paper 2 and we'll discuss in detail the dynamics of the politics of the region. Now the question is, do we need to know the complex dynamics of the politics of this region? Yes, because this region lies where? Immediate neighborhood. And the aspiration of Taliban is Islamic Emirate. Okay, na? What kind of political system there in Nepal? Parliamentary democracy. Since when? 2015. Okay? So, ये homework है आपका, the kind of political systems we have within the neighborhood, right? So we are going to discuss the dynamics of our bilateral ties with all these countries who are in our neighborhood. Other than these, we have Myanmar. Myanmar, a Southeast Asian state, but shares long border with us. So we consider Myanmar also lies in our immediate neighborhood. So dynamics of Indo-Myanmar ties. Recently, military has took over the power in Myanmar. And Myanmar has become what? Military dictatorship. India's interest lies with what in the region? Democracy here. Okay. So India's interest lies with vibrant democracy in the region. Do we have vibrant democracy in the region? Another major challenge of South Asia. So if I would have asked, what are the major challenges of SAARC in the beginning of the class, with whatever understanding you were holding, what you could have said? What is the main challenge of SAARC? You could have said what? India-Pakistan tension. If now I'll ask, what is the major challenge of SAARC? What you will say? Political instability in the region. There is no vibrant democracy in the region. Answer badla. ये है UPSC. ठीक है? धीरे-धीरे evolve होते चले जाओगे. Was it wrong to say that challenge of SAARC is Indo-Pakistan? No. Better answer to say is political violence and instability, lack of vibrant democracy in the region. Only democracy, only country where democracy has survived in the region is India. Survival of Indian democracy is seen as miracle in the West. When India attained independence, Western scholars were not very hopeful about the survival of democracy in India. Why? For this, you need to understand the concept of nation. Once you will understand the concept of nation, many things will start making sense to you. Okay. Other than this, another immediate neighborhood is China. So dynamics of Indo-China relationship. Okay, so it is SAARC plus 2. So not only the geopolitical dynamics of the region is important for us. Important question is challenges in front of SAARC. What India is doing to make SAARC vibrant. Why onus lies on us to make it vibrant. Why we are shifting towards BIMSTEC. Okay. And the dynamics of our bilateral ties with all these countries in the region. And from here, at least 2 questions will come from the region. So reading newspaper, if something is going on within the region, it should be of our concern or not? Yes, something is going on in Argentina, should be of our concern? No. So we need to understand areas where we need to focus. After immediate neighborhood comes what? Extended neighborhood. Who all lies in our extended neighborhood? Southeast Asia, West Asia, and Central Asia. So is it important to go through detail to learn the dynamics of our ties with all the countries of South Asia? Waste of time. One of the important organization of Southeast Asia is ASEAN. Where's the headquarters? Jakarta. How many countries are there in ASEAN? And when it was constituted, which year? 67. Very good. So how we are going to discuss our engagement? We are going to discuss our engagement with the region as a whole. Dynamics of Indo-Asian. Okay, not the dynamics of our ties with all the 10 states of Asia. When we started, how we are engaging with this region? Look East policy. And in 2014, we announced Act East. Opinion, already we have discussed in GS, how Act East is different from Look East. Now what extra we are going to discuss in PSIR? The opinion of the scholars. Scholars' opinion. Here we will add the opinions of the scholars. Otherwise, Act East will not change. Act East will remain same. When we initiated Look East? Kab initiate kiya? Kuch idea? You should not. When we initiated Look East? Kuch idea? Nahi. When we initiated Look East? But why we initiated Look East after that? We initiated Look East after LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization. All those who are done with economy, I'm sure will be aware of these reforms. And when we brought these reforms in 90s. So we initiated LEP after LPG. So we are engaging with this region through LEP, engaging this region with LWP, and engaging this region, Central Asia, with LNP, Look North policy. Look East, Look West, and Look North. After immediate, then we'll focus towards extended, and then we'll shift our focus to India and the world. India and our engagement with the major powers and players like India, US, India, Japan, India, Russia, our engagement with Europe as a whole, India, EU relationship. Okay, ऐसे करेंगे हम अपना IR. The fourth section we're going to cover like this. So first we'll start from Western thought. Will help you to build understanding what all they said. You need to understand the technical concepts. What exactly are the ideas being given by them? How their ideas are still relevant. Okay, you need to understand about theories being given by them, the systematic explanation of the theories. Then you need to understand the ideologies. Okay, much of the question UPSC is not asking on ideologies. Questions are coming on theories, right? Then it will be IGP. Then it will be the core concepts of your IR, and then India and the world. ठीक है, मैं बताता हूँ. Done. Whatever material other than the class notes, I'll give it to you. That will be uploaded with the videos itself. There will be no, earlier it was like this, that there used to be a portal was there, and you used to see, we used to upload all the material on the student portal. Now this time, whatever material I think I need to give it to you, that will be uploaded with the video itself. Okay? Clear with this information? And other than this, one of you can take the responsibility of making a WhatsApp group. All of you can add yourself in that group. Any important information about the class, and in future, the updates like test series, the dates of the test series, everything will be shared on that particular group. Any one of you, those who are attending online, probably because you are working, you will see your lecture later. Any other, because of some issue you are not able to attend, you have doubts, you can raise your doubt on the WhatsApp itself. Okay, and this group will remain active even after the completion of the batch. Done. So this will going to be the flow of lectures. Strong recommendation: do not be too concerned about what answer writing for the time being, and will not going to recommend you too many books. Yes, 3 books I am recommending. If you want to take now, you can do that. If you already have, fine. Even if you do not want to take for the time being, but at least do buy this particular book, that is O.P. Gaba for Western Political Thought, and O.P. Gaba for Political Theory. 2 books. And for paper 2, Andrew Haywood, Global Politics. 2 books rakho. Andrew Haywood.
Can you repeat it again?
Yes, O.P. Gaba for Western Political Thought, it's a different book. Then O.P. Gaba for Political Theory, it's a different book. No book for the time being for IGP. And Andrew Haywood for Global Politics. And later you will understand there's a difference between these 2 words, global politics and world politics. बाद में बताऊंगा ये बात, ठीक है ना? So these nitty-gritties, these concepts, the basic vocabulary of the subject, all these things we'll discuss in detail. Okay? So newspaper reading, from now onward, your focus needs to be towards the which region? To South Asia, that is immediate neighborhood. If you have any questions to ask, you can feel free to ask.
Sir, book for international relation.
Andrew Haywood. For international relation, whatever notes I'll give it to you in the class, that will be more than enough. And other for IR notes, whatever I'll give it to you. Further handouts, if I'll feel any important articles, I'll keep sharing on your group, which will this thing will build. With time, you will start realizing and understanding, okay, these are the things we need to read from the newspaper, and that too in this particular perspective. So my notes, handouts, important articles I'll share on the group. That is the newspaper. The source of the important articles for you will be Hindu and Indian Express. You can afford to follow any of the newspaper. I am going to read 2 papers daily. मैं हर पेपर 2 दिन पढ़ता हूँ. कोई important IR का आर्टिकल आता है, that I share on the group. So you can afford to read 1. ठीक है? आपको 2 books नहीं पढ़नी है. हाँ जी.
And sir, will you dictate the notes or I have to make the running notes?
No. Whatever is important from the exam point of view, I'm going to dictate that. I'll say that now you need to write this thing. Okay?
Okay.
Don't worry at all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So no magazines and nothing. Just the class notes, the handouts, and the newspaper. Now, after the completion of the batch, you have a full-fledged test series. That test series, it will not be only the questions, you will get a well-compiled model answers. Those model answers, take those model answers as value addition. Okay, it's very difficult to make you write everything in the class in those 5-6 months. So I'll make sure whatever new updates has taken place, that should come to you in the form of the answers which will be given to you during the test series. Okay, try. I'm saying though no one will going to take this seriously, I know this. So try to write your test seriously after the completion of the batch, right? Your real work will start after the completion of the batch. Once you have to write the test. 6 months is my responsibility. 6 months is my job. After that, your job will start. I'll do it very sincerely. I hope you will do the same. Okay? Haji, any other question?
Sir,
Hanji.
please repeat about the book.
Yaar, let me first take the questions, those who are in the class. कुछ नहीं करना, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. You do not need to do this mistake of making notes of the articles from the newspapers for the time being. Okay, till the time I'm not done with this part. Till the time I'm not done with the last lecture, try not to compile any of the notes. Just read it and you will be able to build the understanding. No note making. Okay. Everything will be given to you in the class. Don't worry. Okay, na? Any other question? Feel free.
Sir, how
मुझे
can
पता है बहुत
online
सारे
student
होंगे.
ask doubt?
जैसे ही मैं क्लास खत्म करूंगा बहुत सारे आने वाले हैं. हाँ. So I understand
Sir,
this. And if you want to ask like this, you can do that also. But if you think your question might be a doubt, your question can be a doubt of someone else too, you can ask.
Sir,
You
how
said,
can
there
online
is a
student
book.
ask doubt?
See, I'll not recommend that. There is no need to buy that. Again, it will feed you with facts because complex dynamics are not covered in any of the book. The book is Oxford Handbook on Indian Foreign Policy. देखो डराने के लिए दूसरों को रखनी है बुक्स रख लो, ठीक है? To reflect this thing that you are doing preparation और कोई घर पे आए तो उसे डर लगे कि यार बुक्स तो है नहीं, क्या यूपीएससी तैयारी कर रहा है. So if you want to make others fear and tremble with the size of the books, you can buy this book. Otherwise, it will not going to help you much. ठीक है ना? In that, you will going to follow my notes only. So at least for your first mains, you can entirely rely on my notes. Yeah. I'm compiling them from all the important sources. So you can afford to not refer these books and buying these books. Okay. हाँ बोलो. कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो? नहीं? पक्का नहीं है कोई क्वेश्चन? Any subject related question you have, any kind of peer who are coming from non-PSIR background, engineers, the PSIR समझ आएगी, philosophy आएगी या नहीं? You have these kind of peer? Engineers? Has a fear? No, you should not have. Whatever I said today, and if you have watched my orientation class, if you are able to understand what I said today, then you will not going to have any kind of difficulty understanding the subject of PSIR. Yes, शुरू में थोड़ी soul वगैरह की बातें होंगी. Okay, there will be talks on soul which you can't see. Okay, so probably you will feel how to relate with this subject when I can't see the soul. You have not seen the atom also, but still you believe that there is atom and you believe in Bohr's model. Similarly, do believe in the concept of soul, because if you will not believe in soul, it will be difficult to start with the subject, because this subject starts from what? Philosophy, and roots of philosophy lies in the idea of God. Do you believe in God? ऐसा है कोई क्लास में जिसे गॉड के कॉन्सेप्ट पे बिलीव नहीं है? फिर फॉर यू, इफ यू डू नॉट बिलीव इन गॉड, देन फॉर यू पॉलिटिकल साइंस स्टार्ट फ्रॉम मार्क्स. फिर आपको सब झूठ लगेगा मार्क्स से पहले, एंड यू विल फाइनली एबल टू से अब सही बंदा है, बिकॉज मार्क्स ऑल्सो डू नॉट बिलीव इन गॉड. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू मार्क्स, हु हैज प्रोपोगेटेड द आइडिया ऑफ गॉड? Philosophers. And philosophers has just spread what? Lies. Do not listen to them. तो 7-8 दिन प्लेटो चलेगा, ठीक? फिर मैं कहूंगा बस करो अब प्लेटो को, आपको नहीं सर और जानना है. फिर आपको बाद में पता चलेगा, then you will come to know that what all Plato said were sweet lies, and Plato was said as the biggest liar. Okay? Plato is being blamed for saying what? Lies. And one of the scholars has criticized Plato as the biggest liar. According to Marx, all intellectuals and philosophers have spread what? Lies. Do not listen to them. In fact, kill them. Okay? So if you do not believe in the idea of God, then you will relate with whom? Marx. Because Plato has talked a lot about what? Soul. Okay? करेंगे सारी बातें. We'll start everything from the next class, that is Monday. Class timings will be 3:30 to 5:30.